Hi guys, and welcome to another 7-minute lecture. We're looking at yet another debate today, something I've always found interesting. I did a video a while ago on whether artificial intelligence will ever take over humanity. This discussion is quite similar, except that it's a lot more rooted in reality. As in, while that was a much more hypothetical discussion about whether something might happen or not, our topic today is something that we know will happen within the next 3 decades. What I'm referring to, of course, is the use of robot soldiers in warfare, as in the use of completely autonomous machines to serve as combatants in a battlefield. So let me define what a robot soldier would be to avoid confusion. In this present global debate, a robot soldier would be a completely autonomous machine that can use lethal force. Autonomous meaning there is no human being involved in the decision-making process. There's no human intervention required for the machine to carry out its job. And lethal meaning it would be capable of killing someone. This is not science fiction based speculation at all. Semi-autonomous robots are already used in warfare for non-lethal purposes like demining and bomb defusal. An example of a fully autonomous weapon in warfare would be the Israeli Iron Dome, which identifies and intercepts incoming missiles with no human intervention at all. So we are making huge strides in this area. By 2050, there will be multiple countries around the world with robots as soldiers who do most of the fighting work that human soldiers currently do, where there will be robot soldiers deployed in the field in large numbers. The first argument against the use of robot soldiers is that it's a very scary possibility for mankind. We are essentially talking about creating killer robots, something that's been a staple of science fiction and speculative fiction, most of which depict them as the villain and which warn us precisely against this type of research. It would look pretty idiotic on our part if after a century of writers and artists warning us about how creating dangerous robots could lead to our enslavement, if after all that we do go ahead and create these robots anyway and we do get enslaved. But on the other hand, people also argue that this is a nonsensical fear. We aren't worried about our armored tanks or fighter jets or vacuum cleaners waking up and conniving to rule humanity. They're just nuts and bolts. And similarly, these robot soldiers would just be nuts and bolts as well. It's just that they would perform highly complex tasks. A better argument against killer robots is the issue of potential malfunction. There's an international movement called the Campaign to Stop Killer Robots, who often throw out an analogy. They say, let's say a human child and a robot soldier encounter each other in some kind of war zone. A little girl, a civilian who's eating a cone of ice cream. The little girl sees the robot and offers it some ice cream from her cone, like some kids might. The robot sensors misinterpret this as a threatening gesture and it shoots the girl and kills her. I think this is a more compelling argument because it's realistic. There's no way for us to conclude that this type of technology will never malfunction or make the wrong decisions. And when we employ these things in civilian zones, one does get the feeling that rare mistakes like this will be made. Compounding this even more is the question of accountability. Who gets punished if something like this happens? Surely we can't just throw the robot in jail. Would it be the field commander? Would it be the maintenance guy? Would it be the overall commander of the larger theater of operations? Would it be the robotics company? Right? The guy who sort of uses the spanner on the screws, or the CEO of the company. Given that it's a machine committing a crime, it seems impossible to determine whom we would punish. If it was a human soldier who did that, we would immediately know who to punish. We could just punish the soldier. Accountability would be a much more clear-cut process. But this brings me to an argument in favor of robot soldiers. Do we really think human soldiers are these flawless, noble entities who protect the civilians? Of course not. That happens very rarely. Most of the time, human soldiers can be creatures of horror themselves. They rape, they kill, they pillage, they torture. They might have some racial hatred against the local population. They might want revenge for something that happened to one of their comrades earlier. Humans are highly emotional creatures, and the vast majority of war crimes are not committed by accident. They're committed because of deeply human emotions like racism, hatred, panic. So some people say, hey, maybe it's better to have robots doing the fighting. They are not going to have the propensity to rape and want revenge and panic and stuff like that. Those in favor also argue that this would reduce human casualties in war because you would no longer need to send human soldiers to die. A country would no longer have to sacrifice its able-bodied youth in the pursuit of war like many countries currently do. In many countries, long wars end up destroying society and the family unit because if the battle happens far away, most of the males in certain age groups just end up being sent to die. Something like 25 million soldiers in World War II died. And while it's true that a far greater number of civilians were killed, 25 million is still a colossal amount in terms of death. And if it was just our robots being destroyed by the enemy's robots and the battlefield is just littered with nuts and bolts instead of blood and bones, then surely that's a better outcome than we've seen in the two previous world wars. But this could of course open up a counter argument as well, as in if it makes war cheaper and easier, then it would just lead to a case of perpetual war where countries would be locked in this never-ending warfare because they would just send an endless cascade of metal to fight each other without any internal pressure from the people to stop, because as long as dead soldiers are not coming back home in coffins, most populations don't tend to care. So as always guys, tell me where you stand on this issue, because it's an important one we do need to take a stand on. These are the types of debates that will be gaining increasing prominence in the years and decades to come. And the longer we've spent thinking about our own positions, the more time we have to provide a useful answer when the time for us to be decisive actually arrives. If you like content like this, please don't forget to share and subscribe. Thank you, take care, and I'll see you soon.